off to Pacheco, sidesteps a tackle, cuts 15-10, 5, freaking touchdown, dude! Blown up, fumble, pitch back to Brian Cook, and Brian Cook's gonna freaking house it, dude! He's gonna house it! Oh my God! He's got plenty of time, fires, back in the end zone, touchdown! Bro, what the frick did I just watch? And this is why you don't doubt Patrick Mahomes. He's gonna waltz in, untouched, touchdown, Kansas City, let's go, baby! What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Tuesday night Q&A Hangout. Lots going on around here. The franchise, I think, is finishing up right now. There's a bunch of other Chiefs channels live. Players are getting signed left and right by all kinds of teams. Lots of Chiefs news we could just kind of look into just over the very recent couple of hours, really, from today. I mean, let me see. Let's see. Let me go to my profile. So one of the new things is Willie Gay Jr. signed a one-year deal worth a max of $5 million with the Saints. He's going to join Colin Saunders and Tyrann Mathieu. And I think Joshua Kando might be over there with the Saints. I don't think Dan Sorensen is anymore. But yeah, Willie Gay is gone. We kind of thought that was happening when the Chiefs re-signed Drew Tranquill, but it is official as of a couple hours ago. There was a trade that happened between Deontay Johnson and I believe it was the Panthers. But supposedly there was a conversation there with the Chiefs, but they did not want to trade within the conference. Nobody wants to help the Chiefs. They're sick of them winning. Then Patrick Mahomes is restructuring his contract to create an additional $21.6 million worth of salary cap space for the Chiefs. And it's going to lower his cap hit. It was like $58 million. I think it's going to lower it about, $21.6 million, I believe, down to $37 million. And yeah, it's basically the roster bonus is converted into a signing bonus that's prorated over 5 years. And that's how they're able to lower Patrick Mahomes' cap hit. So if you look at it now, I'm just zooming way in. I want you guys to be able to see if I can. 2024, you see Mahomes' base salary, but then his cap hit is now $37 million instead of $58 or whatever it was. But it's definitely moving the hits down the road. That's not going to be an issue. They'll restructure it. But what it did do is free up some cap space. The Chiefs have to become cap compliant by tomorrow afternoon, 3 or 4 p.m. Central, whatever time it actually is, depending on if it's Eastern or Central. I can't remember. But doing that with Patrick Mahomes' contract gives them room and more. And I'm trying to see how much space that actually gives the Chiefs right now. I mean, that conversion freed up $21.6 million. But how much cap space do they actually have now? Let's see. Let me see if I'm going to go to Chiefs Catman and then we can kind of see. I think this is about what it looks like right now. For the Mahomes restructure, they're currently $15.7 million under the cap. Effectively $13.9 million under the cap to start the season after the draft and ERFAs, the exclusive rights free agents. Now, if they move on from L'Jarius Sneed, they also free up an additional $19.8 million. So take that 15.7 plus 19.8, and that's how much space you would have, cap space you would have if you're the Chiefs. You know, I don't know what's going on with Sneed yet. He hasn't been moved, but there was a report a little bit ago that came out. This guy here said, maybe that tweet actually got deleted. No, here it is. The Tennessee Titans have emerged with serious interest in signing cornerback L'Jarius Sneed. Talks will continue, but Tennessee is very interested. He then said a third-round pick has been discussed, sources say, but he's been getting roasted in the comments for that because, according to many people, Kent Swanson among others, the Titans don't have a third-round pick. So, not really sure what's up with that, but this is a Cleveland Browns insider. Not sure why he's reporting on serious interest about the Tennessee Titans. But I just wanted to kind of share all of this news all at once right off the top of this video for anybody wanting to listen for the biggest picture Chiefs news. I also dropped a video earlier today that had a bunch of other things that happened. Tommy Townsend last night signed with the Texans on a 2-year, $6 million deal. Offensive lineman, Nick Allegretti, he signed a 3-year, 16-ish, this is off the top of my head, $1 million deal with the Washington Commanders. So he's gone. Allegretti's gone. Then Tommy Townsend's gone. Willie Gay Jr. is gone to the Saints. They did sign a tight end earlier today as well, talking about the Chiefs. And I talked about that in much more detail in today's video. But Irv Smith Jr. is the tight end that they signed. It raises the floor of the tight end room. Some people are like, well, why do they do that? They don't need a tight end. Well, they need depth. You have Fortson, who's a free agent. Blake Bell is a free agent. And Fortson hasn't been able to stay healthy. Blake Bell is 32, not getting any younger. Doesn't look right ever since having his hip surgery in the 2022 season. So this signing of Irv Smith Jr., he was a second-round draft pick by the Vikings. Played there for 4 years, even though he was injured one of those years completely due to a meniscus surgery that he had to have in September, right before the 2021 season, I believe. Then he was a Bengal for a year. You're getting this man who's 25 years old, much more athletic, higher upside, for the same price that you had Blake Bell last year. It's a small splash, but it does raise the floor of the tight end room, which I am happy about. And yeah, those are the main things. The main things that have happened today. Stuff is still probably going on, and we'll keep watching that. We'll keep watching for it, even as we're live. I'll keep Twitter open and make sure nothing else really happens here. There's been a lot of crazy stuff. C.J. Gardner-Johnson is back with the Eagles on a 3-year deal. Again, the Mahomes restructure was huge. I mean, you've got Russell Wilson with the Steelers. You got Kirk Cousins with the Falcons. You got running back signing left and right all over the place. You've got some receivers moving off the board. Darnell Mooney signed to the Falcons today. So quite a bit going on. That's kind of everything that I've got. I don't want to ignore chat anymore. I want to see how you guys are doing and answer any questions you have. But I did want to let you guys know right off the top what all was happening. I know I titled this around Mahomes' restructure. I'll probably get a lot of questions around that. They're definitely freeing up space to get cap compliant, and they've got more moves to make, guys. They need a wide receiver. They're not done. They need a running back. They need more defensive line. They are definitely not done. I'm not saying they're going to go out now because of this restructure and make a bunch of huge profile signings. Not saying that at all. I know some people are like, well, maybe Marquise Brown. Calvin Ridley looks like he's probably going back to the Jags. The Patriots have offered wide receiver Calvin Ridley a pretty serious deal from what the reports are saying, but it looks like Calvin Ridley wants to go back to Jacksonville, and if he waits till tomorrow to sign, the Jags only owe the Falcons, I believe, a third-round pick instead of a second. And if you're Calvin Ridley and the Chiefs aren't serious in the conversation for offering Calvin Ridley a deal that's even close, they haven't even been brought up in discussions about Calvin Ridley. If you are Calvin Ridley, do you want to go to the Patriots? That's currently in a rebuild. You don't even know who their quarterback really is going to be. I mean, they just signed, I can't remember who they just signed on a 1-year deal. It's escaping me off the top of my head. Or are you going to go back to the warm weather in Jacksonville? I think that it's a better situation with taxes, and it's a better team that's probably going to win more games. You're probably picking the Jags if you're Calvin Ridley, if that deal even gets close. Is what I would think. Yo, what the heck, man? Race fan with the 10 gifted. Let's freaking go, dude. Appreciate you. Greg Davis with the 8 months. Got 1,000 people in here. Hope you guys are doing fantastic. Ryan said, Cole, you're freaking awesome. How about those Chiefs? Appreciate you, bro. Let's go, man. Yeah, Jacoby Brissett. I think that's right. There was a bunch of quarterbacks that signed on 1-year deals over the last 16 to 18 hours. Drew Lock signed a 1-year deal recently. I don't even remember where he's at now. Giants, maybe? I mean, There's been so many signings. I just can't keep up with it in my head. But not a ton of Chiefs moves. Now, some people are upset, that the Chiefs haven't made a bunch of moves. It's been 2 days of free agency, and they re-signed Chris Jones to a 5-year, $160 million deal with $95 million guaranteed, and then signed before that linebacker Drew Tranquill to a 3-year deal worth $19 million, $13 guaranteed. They're making moves, and some people are like, well, that doesn't count. Well, yeah, it does. They both were free agents, and they re-signed 2 important pieces for the defense. They tagged Snead, are shopping him for a trade. I mean, the Chiefs are doing stuff. It's just, they're not going insane on the first couple of days, and that's all right. That's all right. Would you like Snead for T. Higgins? I guess if the Bengals, need defensive backs that bad and they're willing to deal, I would not be opposed to that. But then again, if you trade for T. Higgins, you got to give up draft capital a little bit, because I don't think it can just be Snead for Higgins straight up. You probably have to go Snead plus something, a pick, maybe 2, a day 2 pick and a late round day 3 something, and Snead. Then you're gonna have to extend him. You're gonna have to extend him to $20+ million a year. So, T. Higgins is intriguing, not opposed to it, but that's also if the Bengals really want to trade him, because he's requested a trade, but the Bengals don't have to, they don't have to grant that wish. You know what I mean? Song with the 5 gifted as well. Let's go. Appreciate you guys. A lot of hate on Hardman. Hardman could actually be a guy that they re-sign. I just don't know that it's a guy they re-sign right now. Could definitely be wrong. If they re-sign Hardman, I would think it's on a 1-year deal. I'm actually pretty open to the idea of a McCole Hardman return, especially if Kadarius Toney's status is unknown. You need a guy that's a solid returner and can be used in a little bit of a gadgety role, and he's fast enough. Talking about McCole, he can stretch the field. Now, am I saying the Chiefs just need to sign McCole Hardman, draft somebody in the, a wide receiver in the draft and call it good? No, that's not really what I'm saying. Just saying I'm not opposed to the idea of McCole potentially coming back. Well, chat's going a little crazy today, huh? Would love to see Snead, if they trade him for a first and some more draft capital this year. What's up, Greasy? Yeah, the problem is, I don't know if Snead's going to get as much as the Chiefs are wanting. The Lions traded for a cornerback recently, and I can't remember his name off the top of my head. Carlton Davis, I think, was his name. And he's a good corner. He's not Snead, but they're the same age, and he's also a pretty good corner. They did not even get close to what the Chiefs were wanting for Snead, as far as draft capital goes. So I don't know if they're going to get a first-round pick for Snead. Probably hoping you get a second right now at this point in time, but I don't know if you're going to get a first. I'm really not sure. I know Diana Rossini said a first could get it done, but now that you've seen the market and how it's kind of playing out, you might not get that much out of Snead. Whoa, Dub Freak with the 50 bomb. Dude, appreciate you, man. He said, hey, Cole, hope you and the fam are good. We are, man. Thank you. I know keeping 95 was top priority. Yes, sir. But I feel like the Mahomes restructure is too late. Most of the top guys are gone. I like being smart, but they... let me see. I like being smart, but they need to make Mahomes' life easier as well. How about those Chiefs? Well, dude, first off, thanks for the 50 bomb. Really the good news here, in my opinion, about the market is there's not a lot of receivers off the board. Deontay Johnson just got traded for. Calvin Ridley's still out there. The only guy, Mooney got signed and Gabe Davis got signed. There's really only those two, and then Deontay Johnson got traded. There's still a bunch of receivers out there on the market, and there's cap casualty guys. That look at the Chargers. Look at some of these teams that are still trying to get cap compliant by tomorrow. You could see Mike Williams gone, probably over Keenan Allen, but that's an intriguing guy to bring in on a cheap deal. He is coming off of an ACL surgery, but still intriguing for a cheap vet to bring him in. There are guys off the board, but there's still plenty available. I don't really feel like the wide receiver market has went that insane. It's been relatively chill. You know what market has been insane? Running backs and guards. Guards have been signing crazy deals. Trey Smith is looking around like this. Oh, because they are signing for big deals. And then the running backs, man, they're all going. I think Austin Eckler, all of them. Saquon Barkley, Josh Jacobs. Pick your running back, and they're all. I mean, even Joe Mixon just got traded, and he's getting taken care of. The Vikings grabbed one. There's so many I can't keep up, but yeah, those are the two positions that are really going insane as of right now. Gonna miss Willie, yeah, man. I mean, much respect to Willie Gay Jr. He kind of called it, said he probably played his last game at Arrowhead after the Dolphins game, and it's unfortunate, but it is the cost of doing business. I just tweeted out earlier tonight. I said, free agency is fun. It's like exciting, but it's sad at the same time because they're moving on from players that have been here for the last 4 years, or just even guys that signed smaller deals. You know, MVS was only here for 2. I didn't shed a thug tear over that or anything, but, you know, MVS, much respect to him. It was his time to go, though. Willie Gay, that's a tough one. Just he's been here. He got drafted and raised up by the Chiefs. Snead is another one, drafted and raised up by the Chiefs. If they move on from him, you know, it's just part of it. Snead for D-Hop. I mean, D-Hop's under contract with the Titans. I don't really know what his contract looks like off the top of my head, and I don't even know that the Titans are willing to move on from him. Sure. I mean, if the Chiefs want to kick the tires on it, but he's not getting any younger either. He's 31. He'll be 32 in June. So you can't pay much for him. Justin Jefferson. I mean, dude, I don't think the Chiefs are getting Justin Jefferson, man. You would have to get Justin Jefferson and then extend him to a $32, $33, $34 million a year contract. That's insane. Yo, what's up? What's up, chillin'? How's it going, man? How the hell do the Eagles manage to take giant swings every year? Yeah, I don't know. I think that's because Howie Roseman is insane. He's insane. Yeah, they grabbed... who did the Eagles sign? Did they get Barkley? I'm trying to remember. Eagles sign... Who did they sign? Yeah, they signed Barkley. There's been so many players signed, man. I don't know how you keep up. Chillin' said, not much. How you doing? I'm doing good, man. Just trying to keep up with all these moves. I feel like I'm glued to Twitter. But there's like updates every 5 seconds. And I'm actually going back to Twitter to make sure we didn't miss anything. This is former Chiefs alert, kinda. Amir Smith-Marset signed a 1-year deal with the Panthers. So he remains. What's up, Naruto? Thanks so much for the $1. The dollar bill, man. Let's go. Jameis Winston, who'd he sign with? Okay, the Browns. Drew Lock, I think, signed with the Giants. I mean, there's so many moves. If I type in NFL free agency moves, maybe we can just find like all the big ones. Is this what I want? Yeah, I mean, you could break it down by team if you want, but we could just go... I mean, dude, the Jags have been moving. They got Mac Jones as a backup QB, which is crazy. They got Mitch Morse. I don't know why I said it like that. Gabe Davis. They're probably most likely going to get Calvin Ridley back. The Broncos. What do we got? Not a whole lot here. Here's the Chiefs. Tag Snead. They got Matt Ariza, the punt god. Linebacker Drew Tranquil, Chris Jones, and then Irv Smith Jr., obviously. That happened today. The Raiders got Gardner Minshew, which is weird. I don't know what to think about that. They signed Christian Wilkins to a huge 4-year, $110 million contract. The Chargers signed Gus Edwards. Eckler's gone. Yeah, definitely a lot of craziness, man. Going not just in the AFC West, but kind of all around. L'Jarius Sneed in a first for the Patriots first-round pick. I mean, are the Patriots seem like they really want a wide receiver. So I don't know how bad they need Snead because they're offering Calvin Ridley, trying to get him to get over there. Thoughts on Dalvin Cook as running back too? I mean, I'm intrigued to that, especially if it's a much cheaper deal than some of these guys are going for. A lot of these running backs are signing for 1 year 7, 1 year 8, 2 year, it's like, I'm like, holy smokes, dude, these running backs are making some money. Marquise Brown to the Chiefs. I mean, it could happen. I haven't heard a lot on that front, and we are kind of waiting. We are kind of waiting to see what the Chiefs end up doing. But as of right now, they just restructured Mahomes to create an additional $21.6 million of salary cap space for the Chiefs. They've got Snead tagged. That's $19.8 million. I'm curious. What happens with Snead? He did speak today. He was at a fundraiser, I think, in the Kansas City area. I'll cover it in tomorrow's video in more depth. But they asked him about how he's feeling. He said it's stressful. He's got a newborn, and he's also dealing with the free agency stuff. Not sure if he's going to be a Chief, not sure where he's going to go. He did say he would love to stay with the Kansas City Chiefs if at all possible, and would love to be with the team for the chase of the three-peat. So hopefully L'Jarius Sneed returns. It's most likely that he's going to be traded, but with each passing day, there might be a little bit of a glimmer of hope. Like the market's not what the Chiefs thought it would be as far as draft capital available that teams are willing to give up for L'Jarius Sneed. And they're like, well, dude, these guys are not valuing Sneed like we value Sneed. We should consider keeping him around. I mean, they've got to be tossing that idea around. I would assume the Chiefs already said, hey, man, talking about Sneed, we would love to keep you. Here's about what we can do. Let us know. If not, that's why they gave him permission to seek a trade. Sneed knows their number. And if other teams aren't even getting close to that, Sneed might come back and they might try to work something out. They got time to do it. Sneed could also play on the tag. But that's a $19.8 million cap hit for L'Jarius Sneed this year. Lots to think about. As great as Sneed would be to keep, don't want to pay him $19 million fully guaranteed. Yeah, it's quite a bit of money. Quite a bit of money, and you have a decent DB room. I mean, you have Trent McDuffie. That's fantastic. Joshua Williams, Jalen Watson. Who else? You got Najee Johnson coming back from the ACL tear. You have Nick Jones that they drafted last year. Chamari Connor can play all around, the safety they drafted last year. You've got Brian Cook coming back for year two. You've got pieces. Obviously, Justin Reed. They just signed Deion Bush today. He's a veteran guy for depth and special teams. That is another move they made today that I forgot to bring up. I don't even think that wasn't even on the report on the NFL.com news. Man, put some respect on Deion Bush's name. He picked off what's his name? The Raven. Lamar Jackson in the end zone in the AFC Championship game. Put some respect on his name, man. Myron said, show me some Chiefs info. I mean, I've been live for 20 minutes and I've been talking Chiefs the whole time, man. You think Snead's going to be gone? Yeah, I mean, it's most likely Snead is going to get traded. And I just shared earlier that the Titans, I believe, are the ones that are having some serious talks with him, even though that report is interesting because it's a third-round pick that has been discussed, sources say, from this guy, Brad Stainbrook. That's hilarious. His name's Brad Stainbrook. He's a Browns insider and reporter, 38,000 followers, and he covers the Cleveland Stains. Brad Stainbrook covers the Cleveland Stains. That's crazy. Yeah, Danielle Hunter's going to the Texans. Yes, sir. Knox said, not going to lie, Cole, the longer the Chiefs wait to trade Snead, the more I think he'll just stay with the Chiefs. Well, with each passing day, the scenario is a little bit more likely. Now, Diana Rossini of The Athletic said last week, a Snead trade is most likely happening, but it's probably not going to happen until the week after or when things start settling down from the free agency frenzy. So far, she's pretty spot on. It hasn't happened yet. Not yet. Yep, Stainbrook is covering the Stains, dog. That's crazy. What's up, Aaron? How's it going? Is there a running back do you think would be a good fit for KC? I mean, there's so many that came off the board within the past couple of days. I wonder if running back free agents. I wonder if we've got a pretty accurate list of who's left. Because you can see here, Josh Jacobs signed, Saquon signed, Tony Pollard signed, Swift, Singletary. All these guys signed yesterday. Now, here's guys that are still available. Can we sort it by age? Clyde is the youngest one. Outside of Chestnut. Cam Akers. Madison. Dobbins. A.J. Dillon. I mean, there's some names on here. Kareem Hunt. That's not happening. There are some names. Nothing that's like, oh yeah, the Chiefs need to go get that guy right now. I think the Chiefs can bide their time a little bit there. You know, they do have Pacheco, they do have LaMichael Pirine and Eric Prince, but they do need to make another move. Xavier with the $50, man. Appreciate that. Can you watch some Mitchell clips? He is in the draft, and can we get him for our 32nd? Yeah. After like the frenzy kind of settles down is when I uptick my draft coverage and just study. But yeah, Adonai Mitchell obviously is a guy that's been frequently getting mocked to the Chiefs round 1. Will he be there at 32? No idea. Some mocks seem to think so. I'm just checking Twitter real quick, making sure we're not missing any update here on the Chiefs or anything. I don't think we are. No, we're good. Yo, what's up, football? Cole, what's up? What wide receiver might the Chiefs get? I mean, Curtis Samuel is out there. Marquise Brown. I think Calvin Ridley's probably trending towards going back to the Jags from what reports are saying. But there's others. We should just pull up wide receivers now. Just pull up wide receivers here on Spot Track. And we can just look at that. I mean, these are all the guys that kind of moved. Darnell Mooney, 3 years, $39 million. So is Gabe Davis. So Mooney to the Falcons, Gabe to the Jags. Duvernay, did he sign a 2-year? He must have today. Devontae Parker, Noah Brown, Rager, Brandon Powell, Isaiah McKenzie. You still got these guys available. ISM just signed with the Panthers, actually. You got Chenault, Chase Claypool. I believe this is all updated. McCole Hardman, Marquise Brown, KJ Osborne, Curtis Samuel, DJ Chark, Van Jefferson, Ray McLeod. I mean, then you're starting to get up there in names. You got Braxton Berrios. That name's been thrown out. Tyler Boyd. MVS? Just kidding. Allen Robinson. I mean, there's names. Is there any name that you stare at and you're like, yes, it has to be this guy? Matthew Slater, I mean, he's only 38. Okay, trolling. If nobody signs MVS, can we bring him back for hourly? Like $20 an hour? No, I mean, you could bring him back, but I don't know what they would bring him back for. He's probably done. Let's just be honest. At least with the Chiefs, probably done. Again, if you're just tuning in and you're wanting to know news about the Mahomes restructure, I did talk about it all at the beginning of the stream and just kind of shared my thoughts about all the Chiefs news for today. Spent about 20 or so minutes on that if you want to check that out. No one wants to sign with the perennial winner. Everyone wants the bag. Yeah, I mean, more and more these days, more players are just wanting as much money as humanly possible. Championships are awesome, but you know, in this violent game, they want as much money as they can, and some will consider it. Like, think about like Drew Tranquill signed with the Chiefs last offseason. Andy Reid said, think red and Super Bowls, you know, and Drew Tranquill signed with the Chiefs, took a chance, got a ring, and then got a better deal with the Chiefs. Think of another player, Juju Smith-Schuster, 2 years ago, came here on a 1-year prove-it deal, won a Super Bowl, and then got a 3-year, $30-ish million deal with the Patriots. You know, there are players that'll do it. Anthony said not enough money from the restructure of Mahomes. I mean, they restructured $27 million of the 34 available. You really want to handle that carefully because once you convert that, it prorates over the next 5 years. And the cap hits start to add up on later years. So you got to be careful, but they did quite a bit. It was like 27 of the 34 that you could. So that was quite a bit. We need to sign some wide receivers. I mean, yeah, that's definitely coming. There hasn't been a lot off the board. So we're still looking okay at this point in time. Danielle Hunter went to the Texans. That's another big one. That's nothing to do with wide receivers, but I just saw it again on Twitter. There's been a lot of moves. 26, 27 Mahomes cap hits will be large. Yeah, I don't know what they'll do about that. I don't know if they'll restructure it, or there's some ways you can maneuver the cap and manipulate it, but that is above my pay grade, that's for sure. Yeah, they want the three-peat for sure, James. Heck yeah, you already know. Sign Brown and take O-line in the draft. When you say O-line, you're talking like trying to get a tackle? I mean, a guard wouldn't hurt either for some depth, but I would assume you're talking tackle. I mean, D-line is a need as well. You've got a lot of guys that are free agents on the D-line. Mike Dana, Turk Wharton, Derek Nottie. Those are three. Those are all like starters too. Sign Tom Brady. Oh, man. That's why we can't get wide receivers or keep Snead. Where's the money? We win the Super Bowl, spend some money, and get quality wide receivers with speed and length. I mean, they're spending money. They just signed Chris Jones to 5-year, $160 million. They signed Drew Tranquill. I mean, they're making some moves. You have to be cap compliant, though, by tomorrow, so the restructure freed up a bunch of money to be able to get them cap compliant. I think some more signings are coming. They released MVS to save 12. The cap went up 10 more million than expected. So they're spending. But we'll see. I mean, would you want Gabe Davis 3 years for $39 million? I don't know if I did. Would you want Darnell Mooney 3 for $39? I mean, you can make an argument for it, I guess. But I think the Chiefs offered Mooney something, and it wasn't quite up that high. He should have been paid last year. Talking about Jones? Oh, yeah. No, I agree. I think the Chiefs wanted Chris Jones paid last year. They wanted him paid last year because, obviously you get him done 1 year earlier based on his age. But he held out, said, I want top of the market money. And he won at the end of the day. He got top of the market money. More money per year than Aaron Donald, and $95 million guaranteed basically over 3 years. So he won. What's up, Cam? How the heck are you, bro? MVS back for 6 or 7 mil? I mean, if they want to explore that option, that's way better than 14 million. Remember, there's already 2 million dead cap from releasing MVS. It's not impossible they bring him back, but I would think they explore some other options. Cole, what website is that? SpotTrack. SpotTrack. SPOTRAC.com. SpotTrack.com. Some people call it SpotTrack, SpoTrack, SpotRack. I feel like everybody pronounces it a little bit different. But yeah, that's where you can go see all the players. Contract details. There's also overthecap.com. You can use that as well. Overthecap.com, I feel like their website maneuvers better, but SpotTrack's easier to read for me. I feel like it's more simple. You won't be surprised if the Chiefs go for the wide receiver in the draft and don't grab anyone in free agency. Well, they gotta grab somebody. Think about last year in free agency. They grabbed Richie James. They already had MVS, but they let go of MVS. So they let go of MVS. Richie James is a free agent, and McCole Hardman. That was 3 receivers on the team last year. They're gonna get at least one free agent. Obviously, you have Rice, you have Justin Watson. Those guys are about the 2 most locked up guys that I could think. You do have Sky Moore. He's probably staying. Kadarius Toney, big old question mark. His cap hit's $2.5 million, but if you cut him, it's $2.5 million dead cap. You don't save any money. You could try to trade him, but you probably are not going to get. Can you get a 7th round pick for Toney? I don't know. Maybe. But outside of those guys, you've got Richie James, McCole Hardman, and MVS all gone. For now. So you're going to have to sign at least one free agent. I've seen a couple people say that on Twitter, like, oh, knowing Veach, they're not going to sign a single veteran free agent. I mean, yeah, they are. I don't know if it's going to be a high-profile guy, but they're going to bring at least 1 to 2 veterans in. One might be cheap. Think about it. Richie James was brought in last year, and he was cheap. He was like $1 million. So I'm not saying it's Richie James back again. I'm just saying they might bring one in that's pretty cheap, and then another one in that's not as high profile as we would like, but it's still going to be $5 to $10 million a year kind of a guy. then they'll draft one too. They are going to make moves. But I really, really would be surprised if they drafted or didn't sign anybody wide receiver wise in free agency. They do have other receivers on the roster, guys, but these are guys that's not moving the needle, in my opinion. With all due respect to the guys that they did sign, you never know. They signed Justin Watson a couple years ago as a reserve futures deal, and he became something on the roster. Now, not a huge needle mover, but we would be lying if we said Justin Watson never, ever made plays. He made plays. He's like a solid wide receiver 4, So he was signed to a futures deal. Well, they got other guys signed to futures deals. They've got Anthony Miller, Shi Smith, Cornell Powell. They also still have Justin Ross on the roster, for what that's worth. They've got other guys, but they're going to sign some guys in free agency. They have to. Yo, Derek D with the 5 gifted. I missed a lot here. Aaron, dude, Derek, thanks so much for the 5 gifted. You're always in here dropping stuff, and I appreciate you. Aaron B with the 5. Dang, today is the last day in my 40s. Perhaps birthday surprise for me tomorrow. Aaron, for your 50th birthday, the Chiefs are going to sign some receiver to a $50 million contract. No, I'm just playing. I don't know, but maybe they will. It's a good chance that more moves are made for the start of the new league year. The start of the new league year is tomorrow. Happy birthday, man, if I don't talk to you tomorrow. Aaron Jacobson with the 10 gifted. Let's freaking go, dude. Appreciate you. Aaron coming in hot. Zach with the 20 bomb. GOAT move with Mahomes restructuring his deal. Given the team's cap space, have always had major respect for him being willing to do that from time to time. Yeah, one of the best contracts ever set up for really any player. The way Brant Tillis and Brett Veach and company structured Mahomes' deal, it's so you could be able to do that. You could pull the lever to free up cap space when you need to, and they built it to last. So people said, oh, this was a horrible contract, the Chiefs are screwed. Nah, dude. It was one of the best contracts ever, and you can't tell me otherwise. So heck yeah, dude. Honestly, from what I understand as well, Zach, those restructures of Mahomes just converting the bonus, I think they can make those decisions without Mahomes. It doesn't affect that much with him. They might run it by him, but they don't need his permission. It doesn't change anything for him. He's still getting that money. You know what I mean? But heck yeah, dude. I mean, they had to pull that lever. They definitely did. Sean with the 5. Let's go, dude. Sorry I'm late, but how about this Chiefs was finishing the franchise? Dude, it's all good. I had no idea how late the franchise was going to go. I think they went live at 7:15? I was like, oh, I'll go live around 7:45. They'll be done. No, that thing was it was a finale, so I should have known that it would have been more. It would have been longer, rather. Hey, would you guys have given this for Darnell Mooney? Some contract details on Darnell Mooney that the Falcons signed. Would you have given this to Darnell Mooney? Is that something you're like, dude, the Chiefs really missed out? I'm going to ask a poll. I saw it and I was like, I mean, that was kind of his projected market value, but I thought that was a little high. So I think the Chiefs are okay not going in on that. I know some people were like, what are the Chiefs doing? They missed it. But I'm like, dude, there's more receivers available, guys. More receivers available. 3 years, $39 million, $26 million guaranteed, $15 million signing bonus. Yeah, most people are like, the poll is not even close. 92% are saying no. No. Just going back to Twitter. Dude, there was a little bit of time there where there was so much news happening. It was 2 or 3 hours ago with Willie Gay Jr., with Mahomes' restructure, with other guys getting signed, some other stuff happening. I was like, yo, this is going nuts. Now, if it was Justin Jefferson, dude, what's crazy about Justin Jefferson is you'd have to give him 30-something million for 1 year, not 30-something million for 3. Somebody said we could never afford Justin Jefferson. I said, I think we could. Free Kansas City barbecue for life and $15 million a year. How can you pass that up? I'm obviously trolling. You can't afford Justin Jefferson, dude. There's no way. What about Isaiah? What do you mean? What about him, Mark? You're talking about Isaiah Pacheco? What are you asking? What are you asking? Andrew Beasley with the 10 possible poll choices. Curtis Samuel, Marquise Brown, Calvin Ridley. Oh, wow. Brandon Ayuk, T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd, A.J. Dillon, Michael Thomas, K.J. Osborne, J.K. Dobbins, Alexander Madison, Dalvin Cook. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of potentials out there for the Chiefs. It's really looking like Calvin Ridley is going back to the Jags from what the reports are pointing to. The Patriots have offered him a deal. Like, they made an aggressive offer from what I understand. But I would rather go back to the Jags if you had to choose. I'm sure you guys would as well. I don't think we could need the top wide receivers in the league, just people who can separate. Yeah, I mean, think about it. You've got Kelsey, you've got Rice. Those two that's your 1 and 2. However you want to look at that is, some people like to just put Kelsey aside and just squarely look at the wide receiver room. But I really think you have to include Kelsey in the big picture of how the Chiefs offense operates, because Travis Kelsey is, for all intents and purposes, wide receiver 1 as far as production goes. I understand he's a tight end, but he's having a 1,000-yard season year in, year out. He was a little bit off this year. I understand that. He's also not getting any younger. So I'm not just sitting here saying, well, don't really go do anything in free agency and just keep relying on Kelsey. No, but you've got Kelsey. Rice is going to take a step up. So you've got 2 legitimate threats. Those are both threats, right? You do need more, but you might not need a certified wide receiver 1. You might not need to trade for T. Higgins or anything like that, but if they do it, cool. If the Chiefs want to load up on the offensive side of the ball and go crazy, I am all for it. You guys know how much I love offense, how much I love points being scored, and how frustrating it was this past season when the Chiefs failed to put up 21 or more in like 7 games or something crazy. It was nuts. Now, the defense, thank God, carried them. It was still very stressful. Andrew, thanks so much for the 10. I mean, we could do another poll. We could definitely do another poll. Chilling with the boys. What up, man? The 5-bomb, ready for the Justin Ross breakout season. I want to see him played more. Yeah, I mean, the suspension last year definitely did not do him any favors. He missed 6 games right there in the middle of the season. Now, on the flip side, he barely had any targets and any receptions or yards before his suspension halfway through the season. So it wasn't trending in a crazy direction as it was, but the suspension did not help. It did not help one bit. Yo, Justin D-Way, let's go. Hey, Cole, missed you. Heck yeah, I hope you're doing well. So good to hear from you. Why is everyone trying to pawn off Snead? I think he helps the defense stay tight. Can we afford to keep him? So I don't know if a lot of people are trying to pawn him off. I think a lot are just following the signs and the reports of the Chiefs have tagged Snead and are prepared to trade him if they can't come to conclusion on a long-term deal on both sides, right? So you're just kind of following the signs and the trends of, okay, well, the Chiefs are shopping him for a trade. There's a bunch of interest. 6+ teams have shown interest. Deanna Rossini said he's probably getting traded this week or after the dust settles from the free agency frenzy. The Titans have shown serious interest. There's been other teams that have shown interest but have already made some moves for defensive backs. It's a weird situation with Snead because there's still several scenarios that could play out. The Chiefs could not get nearly what they were thinking they could for him in a trade and decide, nah, we ain't doing that. He's more valuable than you guys are willing to offer. You're insane. And they know how valuable he is to the Chiefs defense. I'm not sure you can. I mean, here's another option. They do come to terms on a long-term deal after Snead realizes he's not getting as much offered to him in free agency as he thought. And it's not enough to justify a trade from the Chiefs' end either. Maybe they do strike up a long-term deal of some sort, preferably a 2-year deal, maybe a 3-year deal with an out after 2, because you have to then think about Trent McDuffie and his extension coming soon as well. If you want to keep him around, which I think you would do, he is insane. There is a scenario that plays out where they keep Snead around, even if it's just on the tag. It is a big cap hit, $19.8 million. But he could bet on himself, have another great year, and then hit free agency fresh without the tag. That's kind of the hang up I think right now with Snead a little bit, is not only are teams going to have to extend him for around $20 million a year, but they've also got to give up draft capital for him. And the Chiefs, I think, are being picky. They're like, hey, we know his value and he's worth this. So I don't know what this is. Maybe it's a third. Maybe they are trying to ask for a second and teams aren't budging at that. So there's several scenarios that could still play out for L'Jarius Snead. I still think it's likely he gets traded, but with each passing day that goes on and no trade, it looks likely that, or it looks a little bit more likely that something else can work out, whether it's just him playing on the tag or a long-term deal. He spoke at a fundraiser today. He said, hey, I would love to stay a Chief and chase the three-peat. That would be my dream. That would be ideal. So he wants to stay, but he also wants to get paid as well. Hank D's with the 6 months. What up, dude? He said, what up, Cole? What are the chances of getting Worthy in the draft? Xavier Worthy. Yeah. His stock went up, I think, just because he ran such a freakishly fast 40. He might be around. Some people are saying, depending on who you ask, that he is a mid-round 2 guy, and he will be available, and the Chiefs probably shouldn't even take him if he's available at 32. You've got others that are mocking him earlier. Wide receiver needy teams are taking him earlier because of his speed. So he is possibly available at 32. The question is he the guy that's on the Chiefs draft board? Like if you've got Xavier Worthy, Ladd McConkey, and Adonai Mitchell somehow all available at 32 or in the 20s, and the Chiefs could go trade up and get one, who are they going to go get? Who's on their board? Like, their true round 1 grade board. That's the question. I like Ladd, the Irishman. I like Adonai. I do like Xavier too, but I don't know if that's the guy they choose if there's some other options available. Xavier with the 18 months. Let's go, dude. 18. That's crazy. What's up, GOAT? Are we going to sign McDuffie when it comes time? Yeah, I just mentioned that. I think you've got a couple years left, and you have his 5th-year option because he's a first-round pick, so you've got some time. But I would think they want to keep. I would think they want to keep around Trent McDuffie. I would think so. The LSU Tigers receiver, says Sean Peterson with the 10 bomb. Listed, what are you saying? Is that who you're saying you would take in round 1 if available, Sean? You feel free to text me. But let me know. Because what are you saying? Thanks so much for the 10. And then Worthy said, if it comes time to it, what about Pacheco as well? Yeah, I mean, could potentially extend Pacheco. He's been playing for like $700,000 a year because he's a 7th-round pick. We'll have to see when it comes to running backs. Second contracts are a bit tough. But as of right now, I think he's playing really well. Would love to see it. And then you said, crazy how big you've gotten, dude. I mean, it's crazy. The community keeps growing, and I appreciate it. I'm just a fan like you guys, and we just try to figure it out together. I have fun reporting on my favorite team that I've watched all growing up, and doing the recap videos or the update videos and the YouTube shorts. It's a lot of fun. So are the live streams too. But it's just been a blast being able to do this, and just know, guys, I'm extremely grateful for the support. I never anticipated the channel really popping off. I just started it years ago now, 3 years ago or 2.5 years ago, whatever it is, just for fun. I was like, dude, I might get 50 views, 100 views, whatever. I'll just talk Chiefs. I like talking about the Chiefs. I've always been a fan, and it took off. So kind of wild, but here we are. Let's go. Channel's always been a great one to watch. Thank you, the homie. Let's freaking go, dude. One of the OGs over here enjoying my jacket like Cole's now. You found this? Where? Where did you find it, bro? People have been asking me where they can get this jacket. They've been asking me, and I can't find it anywhere. If you really got this jacket, please let us know where you got it. Please. Do I like Taylor Swift? I mean, I don't dislike Taylor Swift. I don't really listen to her music, but she's an icon, and happy for her and Travis. I don't really follow it, but if they're happy, that's cool with me. That is cool with me. Matthew, I'll say this. She did a lot. She brought revenue in for the Chiefs. She brought revenue in for the NFL. And some say that the NFL rigged the Chiefs to win the Super Bowl so they could capitalize on Taylor Swift's fan base. And if that is in fact true, thank you, Taylor Swift. I freaking appreciate you helping contribute to the Chiefs' back-to-back Super Bowl rings. Thank you so much. Only 7 teams have done it in NFL history. And if you played even a small role, I am forever grateful. Matthew with the 5. We could afford Justin Jefferson easily. Sign him to like an 8-year deal worth $320 million and $200 million guaranteed. Oh my gosh. I mean, they could, but dude, that would be insanity. It's fun to dream like that. Like, hey, I'm not a Justin Jefferson thing. Like, okay, it's not impossible. I don't think it's very likely, but it's fun to dream about. If the Chiefs want it that bad, they can make it happen. The thing is, they have to give up quite a bit of capital. Basically, the Vikings want a quarterback, so they would have to trade up and get a quarterback. And the problem is, the Chiefs have late round draft picks. They have pick 32. You know, they have pick 32 in the draft. Like, the Vikings look at that and they're like, well, we don't need that. I mean, they could obviously use that to combine it to move up, but it becomes even harder for the Chiefs because of their success. They're not getting early round picks. Thunder Monkey with the 15 months. I remember when we only had 100 people in chat. You're killing it, Cole. Dude, thanks, man. I remember I couldn't believe when I had like 50 people in chat. I was like, man, like that's a lot of people in here. Now we got 1,400 right now. And during the game streams, those got big. I mean, some of those were 14,000 viewers at a time. 15, 16, 17, 18. I mean, those got crazy. Yo, Sean. Okay, Sean said Brian Thomas Jr. would be our number one if we can get him. Trade up. Check the text I sent yesterday. Oh. Okay, he'll go anywhere from 15 to 25, but likely closer to 15 after the combine. 6'3", 205, and a 4'3", 340 with the most touchdowns in college football last year. Oh my gosh. You think the Chiefs would move up far enough to get him? You'd have to combine a few picks, but maybe that's why you can get a pick for Snead and use that as well, right? Oh my gosh, that would be insane. You think if they were moving that high, would there be an offensive tackle in that range for left side for them available, or would all the elite left tackles be going top 10? Yo, thanks so much, Sean. Appreciate you, man. Justin with the 5. What move do you think the Chiefs will make with the Mahomes restructuring? Also, thoughts on the Eagles and Texans moves. Well, Justin, I know you're an Eagles fan, so good to see you, man. Thanks for all the support as always. I mean, the Eagles, you could answer that really quick. They got Barkley. They extended Dickerson. I mean, they brought back Gardner Johnson. I mean, they've made some moves. I think there's even more moves here than are listed, but yeah, the Saquon one was a pretty big one. The Titans, I'm trying to remember their moves. They got Pollard. Yeah, they Cushenberry signed him to a 4-year deal as well. The market for linemen have been going pretty crazy, man. So going back to the Mahomes restructure, I mean, they needed to become cap compliant. That allows them to do that. But you still need more. You need a receiver. I don't know that it's a big splash, but you need a receiver. You've still got other pending free agents that are still not signed yet. You've got other positions of need that still need to be filled. So they did open up quite a bit of cap space. You also, if you're the Chiefs, you have to kind of prepare all scenarios in your head, right? You have to prepare for even if it's unlikely scenario that L'Jarius Sneed stays and you have to absorb his $19.8 million cap hit, which is a freaking lot. But you've got to kind of prepare. So they pulled the lever and freed up quite a bit of space from Mahomes in the restructure. So your guess is as good as mine. I mean, I can tell you positions that they're probably looking at as far as specific players. I mean, we've talked about Curtis Samuel. There's Marquise Brown. There's some others in the wide receiver room specifically. They still potentially need a left tackle. They might wait on that until after the draft, maybe sign a veteran to a cheaper deal if they don't get somebody in the draft that they want. Like they kind of did that last year with Donovan Smith. Gateway with the 2 said draft Xavier Worthy. I mean, he's definitely an option. He's one of the few that's been often mocked to the Chiefs. I think Worthy, Lad McConkey, and then there's another guy that I can't remember right now that's getting mocked to them quite a bit. KC Medic with the 20 bomb. Holy smokes. Appreciate you, bro. Cole, love the content, man. Keep up the great work. Let's go, dude. Appreciate you guys. Grateful for the support, and it is going crazy. Going crazy here in free agency. We had another little move. I think this is not Chiefs, but we're just looking at it in real time here. Raiders tight end Austin Hooper is expected to sign with the Patriots. Veteran gets 1-year deal worth up to $4.25 million. I was kind of looking at the tight ends, but then when they signed Irv Smith Jr., I was like, okay, that's probably their tight end move. Those are the most recent moves that I saw. Medic, thanks again for the 20 bomb, brother. Bernie with the 5. Ditka draft all this year for top 5 pick. Joe Alt or wide receiver. I mean, bro, I'd be kind of. It's not as sexy, but dude, getting Joe Alt would be crazy. Getting John's son would be insane. There's your franchise left tackle, cost controlled for the next 5 years. It would be quite a bit to give up, but if Chiefs want to go all in, that'd be pretty insane. Appreciate the 5 bomb, bro. Let's go. Yo, CB with the 2 months. If it were up to you, Cole, would you try to extend Snead and keep him around for a few more years or try to trade him and maximize the return? Well, based on how the market's looking, I don't really know what all you're going to get for Snead. It kind of just depends on, I mean, if you're kind of saying if it were me. And the part of the problem with that is I'm on the outside looking in, not seeing the full picture of the free agency / draft plan of Brett Veach and company. But here's my thing. If they're trying to move off of Snead, I really think they're wanting to make more swings at other positions, and they need that money. And then maybe even whatever draft pick they're able to get, whether it's a second or a third, so they can start making some moves in some other areas. They might not be as worried about the defensive back position, about the cornerback position. They've got a bunch of young guys back there. They're very good at drafting late round picks. They did draft Nick Jones last year. Najee Johnson's coming back. They could draft another one this year. They've got Dave Merritt, the best defensive backs coach in the game. So they may be like, well, we want to move on respectfully and go after some other positions a little bit harder than we were able to last year because Chris Jones hold out, tying up money. They weren't able to do as much as they wanted. But if it were me, I'd love to try to figure out how to extend Snead, lower this year's cap hit, keep him around for another year, and then maybe an out after 2. I would love it. I think he's a great piece of the defense. He's still playing in his prime. I'm a little worried a little bit about his knee, but he's shown that he could just get out there and ball out regardless, and that could be a hang up on why he hasn't been traded just yet, the knee. But we've got 9 notifications on Twitter, so maybe he's getting traded right now. I don't think so, but I'm just checking. So I would love to keep Snead. If they could figure out how to make it work, lower his cap hit, and extend him, let's go. If you try to offload it, it's just because they're trying to be a little bit more aggressive elsewhere. D with the 5, just a lifelong Chiefs fan showing my continued support. Thank you, D. Appreciate that. I'm not high on Hollywood Brown and think Ridley would be our best option. Thoughts? Well, I can see Hollywood Brown is he's a smaller guy. He's 5'9", 180, but runs a 4.2 something, 4 low 340. He's fast. He'd be a better field stretcher than MVS, but he does lack size. So, I understand why some people are I would rather pass on Marquise Brown, especially if you're going to have to pay, 15-ish million a year for the guy, because that's getting up there. It might even be more, I also understand the intrigue. The Chiefs are the best in the business at finding these little quick receivers and using them in the most creative ways, and Andy literally drawing up plays to get them open specifically to do some magic with them. Now, with that being said, teams have done their best to take away the deep ball, and it's looked funny. So having a real deep threat back would be awesome. It doesn't have to be Marquise Brown to do that, but that is an intriguing thing about him. Now, Ridley, I like him. He's older. He's almost 30. Marquise Brown is a few years younger, but he's a bigger-bodied guy, still fast. You can use him to stretch the field. I think his route tree is pretty good for the most part. I mean, you can move him all around to complement Rice if you want. You can put him on the outside. I think Calvin Ridley could pretty much play anywhere. But the problem is what I'm seeing with the reports on Calvin Ridley. He wants to go back to Jacksonville, and that's what it's looking like as of right now. I haven't even seen any reports about the Chiefs being in the mix. It's basically, again, unless they're a dark horse and it's under wraps, hush-hush, It's basically the Patriots and the Jags for Ridley. Is what it's looked like so far. Thanks so much for the 5 and the kind words. Justin Ziegler back with the 10 bomb. AFC East was once on one of the toughest divisions. Now it's a shadow of itself. Also, not sure if I mistyped, but meant Texans, not Titans. Oh, okay. I was like, well, the Titans made some moves, but the Texans, dude, the Texans, bro, they made a lot of moves. They signed former Chiefs legend too, Tommy Townsend. They got Joe Mixon. They just traded for him today. Re-signed Dalton Schultz. They got Danielle Hunter. That was big. That happened today, I believe. They don't even have Tommy Townsend on here. Where the freak? Put some respect on his name, man. That's crazy. They re-signed their kicker to a 3-year, $15.9 million extension and signed Tommy Townsend to a 2-year, $6. I mean, that's what happens with dude. When you've got a quarterback on his rookie deal, you can go crazy. That's why the Jags can possibly have Christian Kirk, Gabe Davis, and then Calvin Ridley all under contract. And I think they have Evan Ingram. I think that's right, under contract as well. He's on his rookie deal. Trevor Lawrence is. His cap hit this year is $11.7 million. Meanwhile, Mahomes' was like 58. They restructured. It's now 37. But sheesh. Yeah, young team that killed it in 2023. Yeah, with the Texans. Yep, Chiefs a must watch. Heck yeah, dude. Yeah, the Texans are on the up. They're on the up and up. They made some good moves too. Brand with the 5. Let's go, dude. Imagine we go into camp with Justin Watson and Tony being the most seasoned wide receivers in the room. Replace Tony with Richie/McColl if we re-sign either of them. I mean, I guess I wouldn't put it past them. I hope the Chiefs sign some other vet. I don't think you can go in holding on to hope of Kadarius Toney. If he is able to stay healthy and he does show up and you're able to use him, cool. But I can't see how you go into the season banking on Toney being a serious contributor in the wide receiver room. I think you plan on him playing roughly half the season. And if he plays more than that, great. And that's assuming the Chiefs keep him and they don't just cut ties with him after he accused them of lying on Instagram about his injuries. I think they'll try to work through that, to be honest, and I could see him staying. But they got to do a little bit more than that, dude. Justin Watson and Tony, nobody else? They have to do a little bit more. That would be insane. I understand they're going to get somebody in the draft, but they got to get a veteran. At least one. Don with the 3 months. Appreciate you, Don. I've seen Patrick Paul mock to us at offensive tackle. I haven't looked at a ton of... the only real mocks that I've looked at recently, and I probably looked at a couple dozen, is just round 1. And maybe he is a round 1 guy. I'm not sure. But it's been a lot of receivers mocked in the first round. The Chiefs will probably do something insane like D-line or freaking linebacker. Probably not linebacker, but it was just something that we're like, what? What? I'm checking Twitter again. I think we're good. The longer this goes, the better the chances. Are you talking about for Snead, maybe? Talking about for Snead, Kathy? Has KC signed anyone? Yeah, I mean, it made some moves. They signed a couple people today. I reported on it in my video that I dropped a few hours ago. But here's the big ones. Biggest ones. They signed punter Matt Ariza. That was February 22nd. They tagged Snead. They signed linebacker Drew Tranquil last week, 3-year, $19 million. They signed Chris Jones over the weekend, 5-year, $158.75 million. This has 101 in guarantees. I thought it was 95, but maybe there's something else in there that has since been updated. Then they today signed tight end Irv Smith to a 1-year deal, former Viking and Bengal second-round pick. He's all right. He raises the floor of the tight end room. Could be tight end 2, maybe, over Noah Gray, even though I think it's still going to be Noah Gray, and then that just raises the floor for tight end 3. He was blocking first, run routes later, tight end in college, from what I've researched, and needs to work on his route tree. But you've got Travis Kelce. You got Travis Kelce to work with you. So that's good stuff. They've also signed safety Deion Bush. They brought him back. And made some other small signings as well for their exclusive rights free agents. They've tendered a handful of them. Those are the main moves. Oh, the 101 million includes the injury guarantee? Okay, cool. Thank you. Chiefs, let's do a three-peat. Let's freaking go, please. You low-key want Jawan Taylor gone? Yeah, his contract's not going anywhere. And you kind of need to give Jawan Taylor one more year, in my opinion. You might have to give him 2, just the way the contract's set up, but their league kind of cracked down on him, dude. There were other people with an early release time, early jump off the snap, other tackles doing it. Not just Jawan Taylor, yet Jawan Taylor was targeted. He did that for 4 years in Jacksonville. So he was forced to try to change up his play style after 4 years in the NFL. And so that affected a lot of things. So I'm like, well, let's give him one more year. He continues to work on the change all offseason long. And then it's like, hopefully a little bit better. That's the hope. What site is Cole on? If you're talking about what I was just looking at, it's NFL News, NFL.com/news, and it's their free agency tracker. The other site with the contract and the other stuff, it's Spot Track. Mac Jones is back. Yeah, he got traded to the Jags. Yep, he got traded to the Jags. Saw that. Yeah, Lane Johnson did a lot of pre-snap or like quick off the line movement. That is one for sure. Joe Thuney getting cut post June 1st? I don't think so. I'd be pretty surprised. Let me go look at his contract. I think his contract's still kind of hard to get out of. 21 million dead cap, 15.5 million base. I mean, I guess you could. 26.9 million. $26.9 million cap hit. I don't know why they would move on from Thuney this year, to be honest. He was the best guard in the NFL last year. Now, need to take a look at his pec, but I don't think they move on from Thuney. The post June 1st cut might even look a little bit different, but I don't know how to quickly see that on Spot Track, to be honest with you. But I mean, he's a solid part of the line. I think you keep him if he stays healthy. Yeah, not worth it, said Sean. No guards on the roster. Yeah, I mean, Allegretti's gone. You have Mike Caliendo, but Allegretti's gone. Darian Kennard, the guard, is like an Eagle now or something. Chiefs signed the biggest free agent, Mr. Stone Cold Jones. Dude, that's true. And that's what, like, some people are like, well, they haven't done much. I'm like, well, guys, Chris Jones was a free agent, and they just signed him to a record deal. So they did a little bit of something. It's just, it's not viewed the same as bringing in somebody else from another team. You know, he was a free agent, so you did re-sign him. You made a move. Skip Bayless. We're talking about Skip Bayless? No. He is not worthy to talk about. How come Mahomes is restructuring his deal again after doing it last season? Well, the restructure now, like the restructure last season, just moved money up from previous years and kind of gave him a raise. It gave him the money sooner and gave him a higher average per year to better reflect the QB market, because he was like the 10th highest paid quarterback or something, or getting close to it. So the restructure just moved everything up, sort of like a raise. He gets it sooner, and it raised his average per year up to make it better reflect his greatness with the QB market. This restructure is just converting a bonus to lower the cap hit this year. That's all that is. Sign Ryan Tannehill? I mean, I'd be curious to see what the Chiefs end up doing for QB2. You've got some options out there. I mean, you could bring Blaine Gabbert back too. But there's other options. Could look at them. If this button works. Come on. Russell, let's ride Wilson. I think all these guys signed, right? Sam Darnold signed with the Vikings, yeah. You got Tannehill. I think Bridgewater's still available. Tyler Huntley's still available? The Ravens just need to sign him. Old Flacco at 39, slinging that thing. Josh Dobbs, no thank you. Gabbert. You got Carson Wentz. Trevor Siemian. I mean, there's some options. Nothing that's like, oh. But yeah, Tannehill. That would be intriguing. for a backup vet. Why not? Dr. Durden, what up, man? Appreciate the 5-bomb. Trade Snead, we'd have $35 million. Restructure Juwan Taylor, we'd have $27 million. Cut Charles O, get $22 million. Do all three, we'd have $54. You're doing some complicated math in so I'm following. Restructure Juwan Taylor, yeah, I'm not sure how much you could get there. Cutting Minihue saves $7 on his contract. And somebody was trying to tell me, well, you can't cut a Minihue because of his injury guarantees, but I'm pretty sure his suspension last year voided his injury guarantees. It's all complicated to me, to be honest. I try to get as dangerous I can with contract and cap talk, but it's pretty complex. But I think that's why you can move on from a Minihue. Yeah, so basically, Dr. Durden is saying there are other ways the Chiefs could free up even more money if they want to. But trading Snead's a big one. That's $19.8 million off the books. Got to get at least a second-round pick. Talking about for Snead, that's probably at best right now what you're going to get based on how the market's looking for defensive backs. I don't think you're going to get a first. If you get a second, maybe it's a late second. Restructure Tooney. You could restructure Tooney as well. Yeah, that's an option. Do I play Madden? No, sir. Patriots are trying to move Juju. Hey, if that's for real, somebody asked me that yesterday. Would you be opposed to a Juju Smith-Schuster return? I mean, no, not at the right price. I think he worked really well in the Chiefs offense, kind of underratedly well. We saw the difference in how much the offense flourished with Juju there compared to not having him there, thinking that Sky and Tony would take a step up, and we didn't plan on MVS's regression. And then Rice started stepping up, but Juju's cool. But the question is, like, if they move on from Juju, what are the contract are the Chiefs going to have to pick up? Because that could get pricey a little bit. And I know he's having knee issues and stuff too. Oh yeah, somebody said Willie Gay's gone. Yeah, he signed with the Saints, 1-year deal worth up to $5 million. So Juju depends on his knee. Nah, exactly, Brenda. I don't know. Like, I didn't really follow the Patriots that heavy, if I'm going to be honest. They're not a team I follow too much because, one, I'm still traumatized by them from years past, but also they're just horrible. So, like, they're not a team you're studying as, like, a potential playoff threat or anything like that. So, like, I didn't really watch Juju much last year. I know it was tough all around for that team. How do you feel about the Chiefs signing Hollywood Brown? Yeah, we've definitely talked about that a couple times. Like, I'm open to the idea. Casey's being summoned. Bye, Casey. She just ran up the stairs. She was just here sleeping, listening to me talk Chiefs. She's like, Dad, all you talk about is the Chiefs. But yeah, I mean, Marquise Brown, like Hollywood Brown, it's intriguing. He's a smaller guy, super fast. I think the Chiefs could have some fun with him. Question is, what is he really going to be getting as far as price goes? The Chiefs are going to have a point where they're like, hey, we'd love to have you. This is if they're interested. There's been no reports that have said the Chiefs are interested. That doesn't mean that it's not a possibility. Chiefs are going to be like, hey, man, we think you're great. Come here, chase the Super Bowl ring. We're going for the three-peat. Come on. But here's where we can go with you contract-wise, and he might want more money. Now, the good news is, for the Chiefs, is Marquise Brown is still not signed, which means he's either being patient or they're fielding offers they're not super happy with and trying to weigh out their options. So we got to wait and see. But Marquise Brown is definitely intriguing. I mean, that's one I would be interested in. Obviously, there's other options available, but some are coming off the board. Gabe Davis gone, Darnell Mooney gone. Deontay Johnson was potentially available, but we saw that trade happen a little bit earlier. I think all Chiefs fans can agree we miss Chad Henne. Dude, yeah. I mean, if Chad Henne wanted to come back from retirement, like, that's QB2. That's QB2, hands down. Cole looks like a young Kratos meets Michael Keaton. I shall call him Cretan. All right, bet. Hilarious. Justin Jefferson rumor. I haven't seen any like legit solid rumors about Justin Jefferson. I've seen Bengals fans going crazy online about potentially being able to get him. But I don't know. How the heck could the Bengals get Justin Jefferson? That makes no sense. I don't think that's true. I don't think there's any validity there. Yo, Jayhawker with the 5. Appreciate you, man. Was hoping if we signed somebody like Aaron Jones, hoping that we sign somebody like Aaron Jones to be next to Pacheco. Worried we are running his health into the ground. Yeah, it's kind of his play style too. He's just so aggressive. I would love if they could bring somebody up alongside him and kind of help absorb just some of the overall trauma, wear and tear. He's already been through a couple surgeries. He had 2 shoulder surgeries after Super Bowl 57. He then had another shoulder surgery, a more minor cleanup on his shoulder in the middle of last season. You know, and he's a little bit older. Like he's older than or like a month in age from CEH. And CEH has been in the league for 4 years. He's a little bit older. Yeah, you could draft a running back, Jeremy. I mean, that's always a possibility too. I think if the Chiefs were to get a running back in free agency, it's going to be a guy they get a little bit later. Maybe a cheaper 1-year deal. And you could still draft one if you wanted. Sorry. My voice is like a little hoarse. Yeah, they have Deneric Prince and LaMichael Pirine as well, Dave. They've got some people around. Yeah, they're not keeping CEH. He is a potential guy that could re-sign. It would have to be a cheap deal, but I wouldn't hate it. I wouldn't be over the moon, but I wouldn't hate it. Not for like a depth guy that knows the system. He proved that much this year. He could be that guy. Prince isn't good. Yeah, he needs more time to develop, and who knows what he will end up being or not. CEH is going to Cincinnati. I mean, it would make sense. It would make sense. Go back with former teammates Chase, Burrow. That definitely makes sense. You see Higgins to Minnesota, offer for Jefferson. See, I haven't seen anything valid on that, though. I've seen it talked about, though. Higgins to Minnesota, offer for Jefferson. I've seen, like, rumors, but nothing valid. Is LA cutting Keenan Allen? I mean, he's a potential cut candidate. I think Mike Williams would probably get cut over Keenan Allen. I would take Keenan Allen over Mike Williams, but I think it would be Mike Williams ends up being the cap casualty over Keenan Allen. I could be wrong. Haven't like studied it in depth, but that's what I think. Fun fact, Irv Smith Jr. is the highest tight end draft on KC. True. Because when did Kelsey was a what? Was he Travis Kelsey a 3rd round pick? Yeah, he was a 3rd round pick. Noah Gray was a 4th. Huh. That is a fun fact. Let's go. They're moving on up. Appreciate it, Sean. We do need offensive linemen. Yep. I mean, if you go look at the roster, they've got some. Yo, Brett with the membership. Let's go, man. If I go to Chiefs roster, I think I can go look real quick. Because they do have some depth pieces, but it's not like Nick Allegretti was a big one. They did just tender Mike Caliendo, though. Let me see if I can go to position. Obviously, they got Creed. We know that. Guard. Nick Allegretti's gone, so this isn't completely up to date. Trey Smith. Where the frick is Tooney? What are we looking at here? What kind of... We got Mike Caliendo, Wanye Morris. Oh, tackles. Jawan, you got Lucas Niang. Smith is not here. And then what does this look like? Yeah, what the... Oh, injured reserve. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Joe Tooney, Prince Tega Winogo. I mean, you've got some pieces, but Nick Allegretti was definitely a loss. Jason Godric, don't know what he would be. You know, Darian Kennard's gone. Austin Ryder, he might still be a free agent. So they do have some pieces, but need more. That is for sure. Jayhawker with the 5. Let's go, dude. What are your thoughts on the 2023 draft picks, to be honest, compared to 2022? I was disappointed outside of Rice. Dude, I mean, 2022 was literally insane. I think you had 8 of those guys of the 10 playing in the Super Bowl their rookie year. So I think 2022 might be the best Brett Veach draft we might quite possibly ever see. They took a flyer on a couple guys in 2023. I'm just looking up the draft picks real quick again, just to like look at them real quick off the top of my head. Yeah, like FAU. FAU was a guy that they tried to trade up in round 1 for a receiver, guys. Nobody played ball with them. So then they tried to trade out of round 1, back into early round 2. Nobody played ball with them. So they took FAU, round 1, and kind of took a flyer on him at first. He was still young, really, really young guy. Has a lot of potential upside, but needs to develop, and so he redshirted. Rashee Rice, definitely the best out of all of them, and you've talked about that. Wanye Morris, I mean, he did play left tackle for a little bit. Got some reps his rookie year. Wasn't the best, but, you could throw him into the conversation to potentially fight for a future left tackle job. Chamari Connor is one of my favorite as well. They almost took Chamari Connor in the 3rd round. They were not sure he would be available in the 4th when they got him, and they traded up to go get him, I believe. Yeah, Chamari Connor is one of the smartest defensive backs Dave Merritt has ever coached. He played like 5 different positions in the secondary this year, his rookie year, which is crazy. B.J. Thompson's one of those flyer guys. Super light speed rusher, right? He didn't really play. That was a Joe Cullen guy. Keandre Colburn, yeah, he didn't pan out. He bounced around and I don't even think he's back. I don't know where he is now. He's on the Broncos. He was there for a bit. Nick Jones, the guy I'm excited about for next year. So, yeah. I mean, the 2023 draft class was good, but 2022 was great. I mean, holy smokes. Yo, what's up, Max? How the heck are you? How much longer do you think Trav's going to play? Well, I mean, he's under contract for a couple more years. Casey said no bull. FAU was a waste. I mean, he definitely didn't contribute really his rookie year. It's going to be much more telling this year. He's had a year in the system. He was way late because of injuries and surgery that he had in the offseason, and then was in a super competitive defensive line room. You had a Minihue. He was suspended for 6 weeks, but then came back. You had a Minihue. You had Dana. I mean, George Karlaftis, Chris Jones. I mean, you had like a lot of people. Now, obviously, FAU is just on the edge, but Mike Dana, you're not taking his job. So it'll be much more telling, in my opinion, this year, 2024, for FAU than last. If he's still not getting much production at all, I will be worried. That's for sure. Specifically for FAU, being a first-round pick. Yeah, Derrick Henry signed a 2-year deal, I think, with the Ravens. I saw that. How do I feel about free agency so far? Crazy. Chiefs haven't done like an insane amount, right? But they did bring back Chris Jones. They got Drew Tranquil. They made a couple other small signings. Yeah, I mean, there's been some crazy moves outside of the Chiefs, though. 100%. Henry has beat up, no worries. Yeah, he's about 32. He's got a 30, like 30. 30, 2. Got a lot of wear and tear. Yep, Kelsey's been paid. Getting married to a billionaire? I mean, maybe they will. Who knows? But Kelsey's got a couple more years left on his contract. Yeah, Saquon to the Eagles was crazy. That was a big contract. I would like to find a true Kelsey successor in the draft. Yeah, I don't know if we'll ever find a true one, but they probably need to start at least considering it somewhat. Can you talk about the Mahomes restructure a bit? Yeah, Ace, I talked about it at the beginning of the stream for quite a bit, but they did restructure Mahomes' contract just to free up some cap space. And I can show you that again real quick. But if you want like more in-depth talk, I shared about it at the beginning of the live stream. But yeah, they basically converted $27 million of Patrick Mahomes' roster bonus into a signing bonus, which freed up $21.6 million of space for the upcoming season. So Mahomes is hit for 2024 now instead of 58 million. I believe it was 58 million, is now 37. So obviously that is a step of getting the Chiefs closer to being cap compliant. They converted 27 million of his 34.9 available in his roster bonus. So they are cap compliant, and I believe it gives them roughly like $15-ish million in cap space right now. Like they're 15 in the clear. If you trade Snead, you get an additional 19.8. But what moves do they make with that? I mean, you've got to have some of that money for draft picks and for smaller signings for sure. Now, I think it's just the top 51 contracts is what has to fit under the cap right now when they have to get under. They're just looking at the top 51 contracts of the 90-man roster. So, but you've still got to be cap compliant. You do need cap space for like your draft picks and some other stuff, and then for other moves. So there's not a ton to work with, but it does help quite a bit, you know. What is Chris Jones's contract? I did not see it. I talked about it in yesterday's video and kind of broke it down. It's like a 5-minute segment on it, but basically it's 5-year, roughly 160 million, 95-ish guaranteed. And this year's cap hit's like $7.5 million because most of it's like a signing bonus. So it's only $7.5 million on the cap. Not too bad. Jared, what are you talking about, dude? Oh, Chiefs need to sign a receiver already? I mean, they definitely will. You got to think, like, not a lot of receivers have gone off the board. That's a good thing. Yeah, there hasn't been a lot. I mean, Darnell Mooney went, Gabe Davis, and there's been a couple other ones. But there's still some available. Cole, opinion on Sky Moore? Do or die year for him in year 3. Year 2 was supposed to be an uptick. We did not see that. And so we need to see it this year, or it's not good. That's for sure. You say available? Available. Available. Calvin Ridley. What up, Chris? Yeah, I mean, Calvin Ridley is available, but it looks like he's going back to the Jags. Looks like he's potentially going back to the Jags. That's what all the signs are pointing to, at least. I mean, the Patriots offered him a deal. But I don't know why you'd want to go play for the Patriots unless it's simply just for money. Thielen is old and beat up. Yeah, Thielen's available, but that guy's like 34. Why do we let Willie Gay go? That's a great question, Dragon. I mean, there's a lot of people when they saw he signed a 1-year deal with the Saints. He signed a 1-year deal with the Saints up to $5 million max. So that's not even what it is. There's got to be some incentives in there. So your guess is as good as mine, I guess, on why they didn't pay him. Although you can just kind of look at the roster and say, well, they signed Drew Tranquill. They've got Nick Bolton. They're really high on Leo Chanel. I think those are your 3. And then you've got others. You have Cole Christensen. You have Cam Jones. You've got Jack Cochran. Like, you've got a pretty decent linebacker room right now. And so you could save your resources for elsewhere, I guess. It's kind of probably where they're looking. Yeah, Leo Chanel will play more. Yes, sir. Yep, Leo. Yeah, I mentioned Leo in there. I mentioned him right after Nick Bolton and Tranquill. Leo Chanel right there. Left tackle and wide receiver, please, in the draft. I mean, they're definitely got to be looking at the trenches, both sides, and receiver. We'll see what they do about left tackle. I don't know if you go up and try to take a big swing in the draft, or you see if someone falls to you, or you take a round 2, round 3 tackle and try to make that guy compete with Wanye Morris. Do you also then sign a vet after the draft? I mean, there's some vets available now that you could maybe go get. I think Tyron Smith is one. There's others, but he is an intriguing one. Glamrock said, opinion on Sky Moore. I actually answered your question already. I answered it and spoke on it just like a couple minutes ago. What receiver do you think we sign in free agency? I mean, we looked at a bunch of wide receivers earlier. We probably signed some guy. I mean, Curtis Samuel is out there. Marquise Brown is out there. We probably sign somebody like that, maybe, and then McCole Hardman, and then go into the draft. Like, that's probably what the Chiefs are doing. If they do more, great. Sign Jason Kelce for line depth. All right, let's go. He comes out of retirement to play for the Chiefs. I'm down. I'm down with it. Could you do a recap of all the Chiefs news today? Sure. The biggest stuff, I mean, over the past couple of days, Tommy Townsend, he's gone. He signed with the Texans. Nick Allegretti signed a 3-year deal with the Commanders. The Chiefs are out on Darnell Mooney. He signed a 3-year deal with the Falcons. Then the Chiefs signed tight end Irv Smith today, a 1-year deal, former Bengal. Second-round pick of the Vikings. He's only 25. Got some upside. Raises the floor of your tight end room. They signed Deion Bush back as well. And that's the main stuff, other than re-signing Chris Jones and Drew Tranquil. That's really the big stuff. They did tender some of their exclusive rights free agents. So Jack Cochran, Cole Christensen, those are both linebackers. Offensive lineman Mike Caliendo. Defensive back Najee Johnson. And I think those were it. There might be one I'm missing. Darnell Mooney is a ripoff? What do you mean, Jonathan? Like, for what they paid? Like an overpay? Or what exactly do you mean? Yeah, Noah Fant re-signed with Seattle. Yep, he did. It was pretty good money, too. Like $10-ish million a year. What needs more help, O-line or D-line? I mean, at this point in time, probably the D-line. Just with how many free agents are out there on the D-line. Turk Wharton, Derek Nottie, Mike Dana, and I think even more. Those are 3 there. But those are like starters. You know, borderline. So the O-line, I mean, you really need to look at the left tackle, and I don't know what they're doing with that. And that is important because that protects Mahomes' blind side. So I'm not just saying, oh, they're just figured out left tackle. But I mean, they made it work last year. They went into the draft keeping their eyes open. They got Wanye Morris in the 3rd round. They also signed Donovan Smith. They had a plan there. Was it a A+ plan? Nah, B-. I mean, they made it work. They made it work. Maybe they do something like that again this year. Let me see. I've been missing some super chats, which my bad. Sean with the 5. Yeah, James Winchester was another one they re-signed. Yeah, long snapper James Winchester was the other one that I did not mention that they re-signed. The 10-year veteran. Super happy about that one, really. I think rookie talked are more flyers, and 7 could go in round 1. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about there, Sean. I think rookie talked are more flyers, and 7 could go in round 1. Are you talking about wide receivers, maybe? 7 wide receivers could go in round 1? Is that what you mean? D with the 2, signing new tight end, block any chance to re-sign Fortson. It didn't block it, but they didn't tender him, which was interesting. So he's an unrestricted free agent at the start of the new league year. Could sign back with the Chiefs, but could also look elsewhere. I just wonder if they're potentially moving on from Fortson just because of his injury history. Just to be honest, he just has had some bad luck with injuries. I like Fortson. He's a fan favorite, but who they signed is more of a receiving threat than Blake Bell by a mile. And then his best year was like 20-something catches for 350 yards and 5 touchdowns. We're talking about Irv Smith, his best year. That was in 2020. Noah Gray has not had a season like that. So could they bring Fortson back? Yeah, maybe. But Irv Smith might have been like that piece for the tight end room where you may not see Fortson return. We'll see. But that's what it's looking like, at least at the moment. Can't rule it out, but Irv Smith definitely helped. And, Fortson may be finding himself elsewhere. Would love to have him back, even if it's just on the practice squad, and just keep him cooking, keep him simmering. Dude, what the heck? We've had Caleb Mason with the 5 gifted, Chris 5 gifted right with the 5 gifted right after that. Georgia with the 14 months, said Curtis Samuel opinion. Georgia, thanks so much for the 14 months. The Let's Freaking Go tier. Appreciate you. Chris and Caleb, thanks again for the 5 as well. Yeah, we just did a video. Did a video last week on the wide receiver room, and we talked a little bit about Curtis Samuel in that video. I'm trying to find it because I have a bunch of notes on it. Oh, here it is. 27-year-old. He only had 4 drops last year on 85 catchable targets per PFF, and he can be used as a ball carrier. Didn't get used like that as much recently, but you can use him in the backfield quite a bit. Andy Reid would have fun with that for sure. He only had 7 carries for 39 yards, but 5.6 yards per carry when they used him in the backfield. Interesting to note there. What else? 5'11", close to 200 pounds, runs a 4.3 140. Great hands. Could get him for cheaper than a lot of these guys are going off the board. More of a wide receiver 3. But I'm intrigued by Curtis Samuel. Some people aren't in love with that. I wouldn't hate it. Not necessarily the top pick for me, but if you're looking for interesting fit with decent level production for the price, like Curtis Samuel is definitely an interesting option. Surprise Chargers have yet to clear cap space. Yeah, that's coming, Jayhawker. Anytime now. They've got till, 3 p.m. tomorrow? So they've got time. But time is definitely ticking. Thanks so much for the 2-bomb. What's your take on Vladimir Putin? The frick? What's our cap space at right now? Well, with the Mahomes' restructure, it's around like 13 to 15 million. They're cap compliant right now. You know anything about this draft? Not really. I mean, if you want real solid draft stuff, you can go to KCSN, the lab guys, KC lab guys. RGR is doing some draft stuff, and then All Chiefed Up as well. I'm studying the draft, just recently started, but the thing is I don't watch college ball. I take Saturdays off during the season and spend it with my family, but because of that, I'm pretty behind on college stuff. Curtis Samuel is good. Was a great running back at Ohio State, turned receiver. He'll be our Debo, Tony type utility player with tremendous speed. That's what I'm saying. Like, you could have fun with him in the offense, and I've seen more people talk about him recently, like Curtis Samuel's a Chief. I've been seeing people say that, and I can see it happening. I could definitely see it happening. Let's see. Is there a market for Snead at 19 million at this point? So many cornerbacks signed already, money running out. Yeah, I think part of the problem is Snead could have already been traded. Like, I bet the Lions wanted him, but the Chiefs were like, nah, we want a second. We want a second-round pick. And they're like, I don't know if we're comfortable with giving up a second-round pick. So I think people are willing, but the Chiefs are standing firm on his price, knowing his value, and probably have in the back of their mind, like, hey, if these teams don't bite, we're prepared to have him on the roster for this year. I still think he's probably traded. We need to let things play out a little bit longer, and if he's not, hopefully the Chiefs and Snead can come to an extension of some sort, even if it's a 2-year deal with an out after 3, like something for Snead to get him paid a little bit longer and the Chiefs can keep him around. But yeah, great question about Snead. With each passing day, it becomes a little bit more just something to watch and keep note of. Ray with the 1 month. Can't wait for the season to start. Dude, we got, let's see, March 12th. You basically got till about August 12th because preseason starts somewhere around there. So April, May, June, July, August. I guess only 5 months. April, May, June, July, August. 5 months. We can make it 5 months. Come on now. Got to get through the draft. And then after the draft, it'll get real slow there for a bit. June and July will be slow. Cole, would you rather than pay Ridley for a big deal or someone like Brown for less and draft a guy like Worthy? Well, I still think even if they signed somehow, I don't think Ridley's happening. I think he's too expensive. But even if they sign somebody like Ridley, I still think they need to draft a receiver as well. I think you got to double dip. Yeah, almost half a year. I know, 5 months. But once you get to July, like mid-July, you're about in training camp. So you're getting close. You're getting close. Giants fans have completely turned on Saquon Barkley. You think he'd ran over their dog or something? Yeah, it got nuts over there. I saw Tiki Barber going crazy on him. I'm just like, guys, come on, man. Y'all crazy, man. The Chiefs sign a wide receiver, someone like KJ Osborne or Juwan Jennings. Well, Juwan Jennings got tendered by the Niners. So he's staying with the Niners. But I have seen KJ Osborne mentioned. That's not out of the realm of possibilities. Bengals free agent defensive tackle DJ Reader to visit the Lions per a league source. Little update there. Chiefs cap. Someone was just asking about a Chiefs salary cap update. Chiefs cap space should be around $15.5 million after the Mahomes restructure. So that's where the Chiefs are right now. You need a few of that. You need a few million, maybe even a little bit more for the draft picks. Maybe a few million would be safe enough. You've got some room. But remember, if they trade L'Jarius Sneed, you get another 20. You'd have 35 million. Basically. 35.3 million in cap space if Sneed's traded. You feel it in your heart the Chiefs are getting Justin Jefferson soon? I mean, bro, you better start fasting, praying, go to each window of your house, prone, and start crying out, dude, because I think it's going to take a miracle for that to happen. I kind of wish the Chiefs would have signed this guy. Seahawks are signing tight end Pharaoh Brown to a 1-year deal. I want a guy on the Chiefs with the name Pharaoh. Pharaoh. Hey, Pharaoh. That's fire. No touching the beard? Whoa, what are we doing? What website are you using for your free agency news? Well, I'm using a couple. I use spottrack.com, and then I'm using Twitter, to be honest. And then also NFL.com/news. They have a free agency tracker on there. Yeah, mainly Twitter for like instant news. ESPN has it at 21 million. I don't know. I've seen SpotTrack had it around 15 to 13, and then this guy, whoever runs Chief Salary Cap, said around 15. So that's the second one place I've seen 15. I am checking just to make sure. Do you think we should keep Donovan Smith? Donovan Smith made it sound like he wasn't getting re-signed by the Chiefs, but that is a scenario that the Chiefs could go. Like, you kind of wait if you're not able to get somebody like a Tyron Smith like right now or soon. If you want to wait, see what you can get in the draft. If that doesn't pan out, sign a veteran after the draft that's still available. Donovan Smith, like, he was a serviceable left tackle, and you could bring him in to compete with Wanya Morris, and maybe Wanya wins the job. But you need depth. And I understand he was hurt part of the season. He wasn't the best. I get it. But for the price, he was okay. Andrew said, I'm a little late. What happened so far? Well, I've been live for almost 2 hours. So really, for the best update, just go to the beginning. I talk about it in depth for like 20 minutes straight. That'll get you like everything you need to know ASAP. Desi said, I'm the real Chiefsaholic. The guy they arrested was my fall guy. Yeah, doubt it. Doubt it. If the Chiefs spend $20 million on another defensive player, it'll be an edge and not a corner. Oh, I could see that. I mean, they've got FAU and Karlaftis, which I think they sign an edge, but I don't know if they'll get a guy that's that high. $20 million. They have a Minihue as well, but he's injured. That's somebody I didn't even really talk about him earlier when I was talking about the D line, and it's just because he's injured till at least like week 10. Yeah. The best thing that came out of the Tiki Barber thing is everyone now telling their former teammates that they're dead to him. I know. Yeah, everybody's saying that. I saw Tyreek Hill said it. I saw Lamar Jackson said it. That's all good, Andrew. But yeah, if you go back to the beginning, because I'm about to get off here in the next few minutes, but if you go back to the beginning, I talk about it for for about 15, 20 minutes, all the update. NFL on Reddit is good too. Yeah, I'm not a big Reddit guy. I've just never really used it. I think they have like a Chiefs Reddit or something too. But I've never really been on it. Chris Clark does Chiefs Cap from Locked On. Oh, nice. Yeah, he's a good dude. I'm actually I'm subscribed to his Substack. He puts out some good stuff. Like I try to follow a couple analytical people, or they're more analytical than me at least. Seth Kaiser, I follow his stuff, and then I follow Chris Clark just for some of the nitty gritty contractual stuff, because I'm just a fan like y'all. I mean, I understand since I cover it all day, I know and learn more each and every day, but I'm still like, yo, what the frick does that mean? What is this? You know, it's when you're getting into salary cap stuff and contracts, like that stuff is pretty confusing to me at times. Snead for Higgins, am I crazy or does that make sense? Well, Lane, I guess it just depends. Like, I just don't know off the top of my head if the Bengals need a defensive back really bad. Like, do they need a defensive back pretty badly? If so, they would trade for Snead and they need to extend him. You need to pay $20-ish million a year. Do they need a cornerback that bad? If so, cool, let's freaking talk. If it's a need enough for both teams, I think they would consider trading because it would help them, which is not ideal. I don't want to trade with the Bengals, but whatever. And then it would help the Chiefs too. But on the flip side, the Chiefs would also need to give up a draft pick probably for T, because you couldn't just trade Snead for T straight up, in my opinion, and then you'd need to extend T. Higgins also. Basically, everybody needs a CB. That's true. I mean, I did see Mina Kimes of ESPN say 20 of 32 teams she had as primary needs was a cornerback. One of their primary needs was a cornerback. 20 of 32 teams. Crazy. You're a CB. You really are. Yvonne said, we have the best mods. Heck yeah, dude. Night Hunter holding it down. Lego in chat. I saw Brandon here. I'm probably missing some people. I know Jennifer's in here. She's always in here. Holding it down. Nightbot, even. Possible Snead stays? Yes. With each passing day, a deal doesn't get done. There is a slightly increase in a chance that Snead could play on the tag, or a long-term deal can get worked out, and they could lock him up for a couple of years. Now, I still think a trade most likely happens, but with each and every day that passes, you know, other options could end up coming to pass. We'll have to see, though. When's the next giveaway? I typically do a members only live stream once a month, and we give away a jersey from NFL Shop, a signed piece of Chiefs merch, and a bag of coffee. So it'll be sometime this month before the end of March. We got a couple weeks still. We got 2 weeks and 5 days. What profile are you on Twitter for free agency news? I mean, honestly, I just follow a bunch of NFL insiders, and over the couple years of being on Twitter with this Chiefs account, I've found just the best people to follow. So, I mean, I'm following Ari Mirov, I'm following Mike Garofalo, or Garofalo. How the frick do you say his last name now? I'm spacing. Mike Garofalo. Garofalo. I think it's Garofalo, actually. Tom Pelissero. I don't know. I'm saying his last name wrong. Ian Rappaport is another one. All the main guys. And then I just have notifications on for him. Yo, what's up, Jimbo? All the stuff you've been doing. Appreciate it, man. Been watching you the past few months, but NFL Chiefs news in the game. Dude, thank you, man. Appreciate the kind words, Jim. That's awesome, dude. Let's go. Do you think that the Ravens are a very terrible threat for the three-peat with Derrick Henry? I think Derrick Henry is helpful, I guess, but they need to use their running backs in the postseason. So, what's up with Willie Gay? He's the Saint. 1 year, $5 million, or 1 year deal up to $5 million with the Saints, man. He's gone, sadly. Apparently, Brown is very interested in the Chiefs. Thoughts? Yeah, I mean, he's an intriguing receiver. I don't know if those tweets that were floating around like they were as like a DM with Marquise Brown, I think they're fake. But they were kind of floating around online with, supposedly it was saying Marquise Brown was trying to sign with the Chiefs and trying to get his bag. I think that's fake, but I did see that. Either way, even if it's real, the Chiefs still have to be interested enough to give him money, right? And bring him in here. We've talked about reasons why it would be interesting to have him here, talking about Marquise Brown. But there's other options too. Second place. Appreciate you, man. Good to see you. Recently got a signed Naughty jersey. Ooh, Henny signed photo. Holly signed photo and Kelsey signed logo. Trying to add to your collection? Let's go, Ray. Fire, dude. This is some good ones. Who's faster, Brown or Samuel? I think Marquise Brown. Yeah. Marquise Brown's probably the fast guy in free agency. Marquise Brown 40 time was 4.27. 4.27. That's pretty freaking fast. Curtis Samuel 40 time 4.31. So they're both freaking fast, dude. I mean, that's not that much different. And then Curtis Samuel is a bit bigger. He's 5'11 instead of 5'9. If that helps. We got to start Justin Ross. I mean, he's going to he's going to get the chance, the opportunity to earn a spot. He did it last year. Can he do it again? We'll see. Chances we sign Tyron Smith. I mean, he is definitely an option, Matt, for left tackle, one of the better free agency options out there. We will definitely see. I would think the Chiefs have their eyes on him at least somewhat. As long as he is able to stay somewhat healthy, like that's an upgrade from Donovan Smith, like bar none. I would say to cap off free agency, we get Marquise Brown and re-sign Naughty. I mean, that's cool. I'd take both of those. Is there a way for the Chiefs to get Justin Jefferson? Not really. I don't think so. What does it mean when a team tags a player? I mean, basically a very professional version of a franchise tag is every team can franchise tag one player each year. And there's a couple different scenarios it plays out on how much they're on the hook for their salary, but it's typically the average of the top 5 paid players at that position is what the Chiefs owe for that player when they franchise tag somebody. There's several different tags you can put on somebody, but it's mainly the non-exclusive franchise tag. You tag that player, and basically it prevents them from just walking into free agency and signing with another team. You tag them, it locks them in to a guaranteed amount of money for the year. You could then negotiate a tag and trade with another team, or you can negotiate a long-term deal with that player. Sometimes teams will franchise tag a player just to give them more time to negotiate a long-term deal. And you can only do that for one player once a year. Mahomes restructure contract, his idea? I don't know, Sequence. Didn't get any info on that. They can do that kind of a restructure without really having Mahomes. His okay, from what I understand, even though they probably hit him up and they're like, hey, we're probably going to, convert this bonus to free up some cap space. And Mahomes is probably like, cool, sounds great, because he's getting the money regardless. Is Tony leaving? Possibly, Marcel. Possibly. We'll see. They don't save money by moving on from him. They have to eat $2.5 million in dead cap unless they trade him. I don't know what they would get out of him. So that's it. There's the Chiefs news, guys. We've been live for about an hour and 50 minutes. Shane said, can you answer my question? Shoot. What's your question, Shane? What up, dude? I mean, I'm going back in chat, but I don't see it. I just went back like 30 comments. Harris with the 5. Good to see you keeping up after the Super Bowl, Cole. Heck yeah, man. The season ain't stopping, dude. We went from the Super Bowl win right into the offseason. It'll slow down a little bit, then the draft will hit, then it'll slow down a little bit, and then the season's here. So I appreciate you guys. Thanks so much. Harris for the 5, Brenda with the 2, everybody for the dono bombs. Appreciate you more than you know. Free agency is starting to go nuts. Let me check Twitter one more time before I get off here to make sure I didn't miss something. Nope, nothing. We'll see what happens with the Chiefs tomorrow. What moves will be made. And be sure of this. I'll keep you updated every step of the way. If you haven't seen my video that I dropped a few hours ago, it covers a lot of the stuff that happened. I had a video that dropped yesterday that covers even more. So make sure to check that out if you haven't already. And until next time, let's go. Let's freaking go. How about those Chiefs?